Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we're going to reattempt to squeeze some of the bigger pictures out of a little bit of literature's I'm Adrian Fort, and I know it's been a while. About 50 days, almost 2 months. I have to admit, just got burnt out, man. This year has finally sort of caught up with me. And we're going to dive into a little bit of Emily Dickinson, which exhibits some of the ways in which this year has finally caught up to me. If you're watching this in the future, and the future extends past the next month and a half, which at this point I'm not 100% sure. I'm talking about 2020. I have been locked in my apartment for oh so long, and it's wearing on me. I am someone who I have been making other videos. If you don't follow me on my other channel, I will pin a comment in the comment section below from that other channel. Make sure you go over there and follow me there as well. But I talk about movies, music, television shows, some story time type YouTubery stuff. I take Cosmo quizzes, which are good for my mental health. And one of the things that helps me be me, I am not what is commonly known as a people person. I am not good with other personages. So one of the things that helps me, I'm not quite degenerated to the point where I don't feel loss of other people. I feel a negativeness, a void, if you will, without some people sometimes. One of the things that really helps me is to go be alone around people. Go to a coffee shop or something like that and spend a couple hours reading and writing there. I can't deal with other people, but being around other people reminds me that I am a people. So we're going to deal with an Emily Dickinson poem that exploits some of those ideas a little bit. It is in the standard collected Emily Dickinson, the standard complete Emily Dickinson poem 405, It Might Be Lonelier. And it reads as such: It might be lonelier without the loneliness I'm so accustomed to my fate. Perhaps the other, peace, would interrupt the dark and crowd the little room too scant by cubits to contain the sacraments of him. I am not used to hope. It might intrude upon its sweet parade, blaspheme the place ordained to suffering. It might be easier to fail with land in sight than gain my blue peninsula to perish of delight. I want to read that one more time, because there is a word that stands out to me, not for what it is, but for what it isn't. It stands out to me for the word that it invokes, not the word that it is. It might be lonelier without the loneliness I'm so accustomed to my fate. Perhaps the other, peace, would interrupt the dark and crowd the little room too scant by cubits to contain the sacrament of him. I am not used to hope. It might intrude upon its sweet parade, blaspheme the place ordained to suffering. It might be easier to fail with land in sight than gain my blue peninsula to perish of delight. I want to first take a look at a word which is invoked, like I said, but is not used. The word that is used is hope. The word which is invoked is hopelessness. Hope is a thing which is not. If you hope for something, it is to pursue that thing. It is to want that thing, but it is not to have it. It's a word that works in the negative. If you have what you hoped for, You don't hope for it. But you don't hopeless either. If you hope for a lover and you find one, you do not hopeless that lover. You have that lover. In this way, hoping is sad, but hopelessness is not. It is the lack of desire, but it is the lack of desire in this poem for someone else. It is a comfort in being alone. I've finally found this place that I can be, this way that I can be, and claim my loneliness instead of a longing. So we have here hopelessness and we have here loneliness. And we are clinging to them both. Is this a case of better the devil we know than that which we don't? Is this a case of, and I'm coming back to this because I think that this idea is the point of the poem, is everything that's going on here. Because I think it would be one of the questions which it is very tempting to play with here is whether this poem is about the worry of an impending suffering at the hands of someone else, right? Why have we assumed this loneliness? Why have we taken and embraced this place of this place which is so embattled and so guarded? Why have we taken that place? Is it because we are worried about someone hurting us? Or is it because we are worried about inflicting ourselves on someone else in a way that would cause them to suffer? I think that is a very tempting question to pull into this poem because it doesn't exist anywhere in this poem. Right? It is a question which is begged by its absence. Which is one of the most fun things about literature, right? Discussing the things which don't happen on the page. But I think that's the wrong thing to do here. Our speaker here is comfortable in their discomfort. This is sort of like learned helplessness. Being comfortable in discomfort. Accepting failure before the attempt. Don't try for anything which we might win or we might like because we're so used to it here on the losing side. The classic experiments with learned helplessness really sort of set into motion in your mind what that state of mind would be. It's animal abuse, but it's definitely worth reading about if you're not up on that side of things. Essentially, what would happen is they would put a dog into a cage, and they would electrify one part of the cage, or they would electrify the entire cage, and the dog would get so uncomfortable that it would just fall down in pain and just accept the pain. After a while, they partitioned the cage, and the other side of the cage was not electrified. So if the dog had the clarity of mind, all it would have to do would jump over that partition, be in the other part of the cage, would not be getting electrocuted. But the dog never knew any better, so it would just lay down and take the pain. Learned helplessness. There is no helping me in my current state. I may as well just take it. What this poem is crying is that don't give me the hope that I might be worthwhile. Don't give me the hope that there may be someone out there for me. Don't give me the hope that there may be some type of friendship for me, some type of lover for me, some type of community for me. I've forsaken it because lack of that hope does not require a constant pain. It is a numbness. The learned helplessness, the dog laying down in the cage to just accept being electrocuted. You accept a full body pain because you find a way to callous yourself to it. This poem is a prayer. This poem is a prayer to remain in that hell of worthlessness, in that hell of nobodiness. Martin Luther King Jr., in a letter from Birmingham jail, used the phrase, this might not be exactly it, but this is the degenerating sense of nobodiness. Degenerating sense of nobodiness. There's a lot of ways that people come to a degenerating sense of nobodiness. There are a lot of ways that people lose their connection to personhood. It's a hell of a thing to say, don't give me hope. It's a hell of a thing to say, look, I've accepted my nobodiness. Don't ruin this for me. And I think a lot of why that is, where that comes from, is I think that what happens is once you've found that nice gully, that nice bottom, once you've found that nice bottom, once you've found your rock bottom, I'll say it that way, that sounds a lot cleaner. Once you found your rock bottom, you know you survived the fall the first time. You know, getting here didn't kill me, but there were times I sort of wished it had. Still, I am able to wake up every day and function on a day-to-day basis in whatever shadow of a life that I have. I am able to function in that life, and it kind of doesn't suck so bad all the time when I just accept the fact that it has to suck all the time. This is a prayer, don't give me hope. I survived that fall the first time. I don't know if I would survive it again. This is learned helplessness. This is depression. This is so. I'm gonna go here. When you're being observed, when you're on suicide watch, they don't watch you. They don't pay all that close attention when you're sullen and sad. They pay attention when you perk up a little bit, because normally what happens is that perking up a little bit is the decision has been made. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and go through with it. Part of me wonders if with these ideas, with these actions, with suicide, part of me wonders if there's a lot of intuition with it. Because this happens a lot. This prayer of a poem happens a lot. Don't give me hope. Just don't give me hope. I survived the fall the first time. I don't know if I would again. Because I wonder if part of this is intuitive. Because giving you hope is that little bounce, is that little perk, is that little pep. And that's when they want you. That's when it happens. This fear of feeling good, this fear of feeling all right, this fear of feeling it all. We are, after all, hopeless. Hope is a feeling. Hope is a positive feeling. We're hoping we don't get any hope. So this poem is one that speaks to me because it reminds me when I lose that little bit of fight that I have. You know, we all get worn down. We all get to this place where we don't have fight anymore, where it's left us, where we are, it feels as if it were for naught. We all get to that point sometimes. This poem helps me remember it's okay to come out the other side. It's all right to feel again. It's all right. Because it reminds me of saying this same prayer when it wasn't all right. And I think that's one of the things that it helps me with is that recognition. Just that recognition. So much of literature. And I think this is why I'm going to take a detour here. Hey, it's my channel. You don't like it, fuck off. I think this is why so much of genre fiction gets the snub nose from so many people, is that literary fiction is, or should be, because we're coming around to a place where literary fiction isn't this anymore. Literary fiction is to remind us how alike we are, whereas a lot of genre fiction is written to say how special we are. Think The Hero with a Thousand Faces. The hero is born, the hero is special. Now, in a roundabout way, what it comes back to, if I can invoke the roundabout with Joseph Campbell in mind, is that we are all in our own ways special, right? The sort of everybody gets a trophy thing, but all of us being special means that none of us are special, which is in itself, it just feeds upon itself. But what we're getting around to with a lot of literature now, I don't want to get into that too much. Look how special I am. We're getting into a lot of that anymore in literary fiction, and not in an ironic sense. But yeah, so to go back, what this poem does is reminds me wherever that rock bottom is, someone else is there too. You know? Someone else is there too. And whenever we get to those places, we just gotta look around. Because somebody else is there too. You know? And odds are, they're a rat bastard just like you. And they don't want to be talked to either. They don't want to be talked at. Because whenever we've scabbed over our soul, whenever we've calloused that thing which makes us human, it sucks. Whenever we've scabbed over our soul or calloused that which makes us human, it is hard to get soft again. But you just got to face it, that that's what makes you human. You've just got to face it, that it's worth doing. And that's what this poem reminds me of. That's where this poem takes me. That is all I have for this poetry discussion here on Strip Cover Lit. Again, there will be a pinned comment to my other channel where I talk about movies, and I'm doing The Mandalorian right now, reviews on that, and all of these sorts of things. So go follow me over there. I talk about a lot of stuff over there. This channel is a very heavy investment for me. And sometimes I'm just not in a place where I can do that heavy lifting for myself. And that other channel, it doesn't have to be. I feel a lot of responsibility with Strip Cover Lit, that I keep it about literature. And sometimes that well is dry. But over there I get to talk about all sorts of stuff. So yeah, go to the pinned comment, follow me over there, or I will find you. I mean, don't pretend I won't.